It's 59 degrees.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Yep, it's working. Okay, good. So I see we have lots of people here right off the start. That's good. So let's see who we've got. Notice you guys are having a discussion about temperatures too. Diana Miller was the first one this time. She was 15 minutes early. And Diane says it's 91 degrees in Texas, 98 degrees yesterday. Wish I was in Canada. Well, Canada's
I don't know. Canada's 15 right now, which works out to
60.
50, yeah, 59 or 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm
Yeah.
still wearing shorts, though.
Yep. Yep. Brenda Mitchell is here. Hi, Brenda. It's sunny out in Vancouver, Washington. Del Marie is here from California. It's 85 in California. Tuesday, though, it's going up to 102. Russ is here. Hi, Russ. And Janine is here. And let's see, going down the list. Elsa's here. Now, she says it is cold and miserable in Alberta. Well,
it's miserable here, too, because it's raining all day.
Yeah. Mona's here. Good afternoon, everyone. Sweater weather here in Tucson, only 98. Oh, only. Melissa is here. Ines is here. In Newfoundland, it's 62. It's warmer in Newfoundland than it is for us right now. Not by much, though. Diana says she's loving watching Walter learn how to use Lucey. Can't wait for more. And Em is here. Hi, Em. And did I say hi to Barb Olson? I don't think I did. Hello, Barb. And Tamela is here. Wild Rose Treasures is here. Jeannie is here. Faith is here. And let's see. Ruth from upstate New York, and Patsy. Only 93 in Mississippi, only.
Em says he's drunk.
I'm so drunk. Haha. Okay, Em. Keep your clothes on, Em. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. How'd that happen? Oh, that wouldn't show up on there anyways. Let's see. Jan's here. Hi, Jan. Colleen is here. She says it's overcast and 21 or 70 in Charlottetown.
Oh, warm.
Wow, warm there, yeah. What's this thing doing? Okay. Philippa's here. Hi, Philippa.
Philippa, it's 15 degrees here, and I'm wearing shorts and short sleeves.
Yeah. Philippa would freeze. Well, Barb says it's 15 degrees, just like here, and with blue skies and sunny in Calgary. And Shannon's here. Hi, Shannon. Okay, so everybody is here, and I'm sure there'll be a few more joining in as well. So, yeah, lots of little bits and pieces of things to tell you about in the past week or whatever. It's been a fairly productive week for me, anyways. For Walter,
I
too.
get things done. I'm busy doing stuff, but not necessarily sewing.
Yeah. Oh, Southern Haters here with pork chop the corgi as well. Okay, pork chop. I think that's what we're having for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
I love
corgi on the barbecue.
I love a good corgi on the barbecue. Yes. Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie. Yeah. So, anyways, well, let's take a look at what we've been up to. And when I say we, I mean me. Although Walter was doing some, we'll come to him. So I just need to get some things. So you know that Stephanie has been doing a series from the book The Underground Railroad, and I'm quite intrigued by that. It is a sampler, so I have 6 blocks done so far, and I'm kind of enjoying doing this, and I'm getting a chance to use my old lady fabric as well that I've had for quite a while, but it's kind of fun to do them. This is a book that was written by Eleanor Burns, Quilted a Day.
Wouldn't that be old man fabric for you?
Yeah, I've seen what you pick out. I don't know why I bought this bundle. I've had it a long time. I may have had an idea. I know why I was going to do this. That's why I bought it. That's what it was all about. Well, anyways,
You were talking about Eleanor.
yeah. The book is written by Eleanor Burns from Quilt in a Day, and I think it was put out in about 2003, so it's what, 21 years old. You can get it from Amazon though. That's where I got my copy. Her instructions, I've been finding, are a little weird. She does some things in a way that, like the way she makes flying geese, for example. I have seen that method used before, but there are better methods. So I think Stephanie's finding the same thing. So we just kind of do it our way, and we get the same results. So that's all that matters.
Are their measurements correct?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, the measurements are correct, but it's the way the measurements are written. At first, I was guessing at what each little unit was supposed to come out by looking at the other units and that. And then I realized that in fine print off to the side of the diagram, it tells you how big the little unit will end up being. But it's not the way used to not the way I'm used to the way patterns are written. So Stephanie and I were talking about that with each other the other day, but I mean, you get there. It's not that bad once you get the swing of how she puts it together. But anyways, this will be fun. But I did start another project today. I don't have a picture to show you of that, and it's on the wall behind me. Actually, you can't see it's on the shot. It's a giant maple leaf, and the reason it appealed to me was it was a free pattern from, I think, Robert Kaufman. And I didn't quite do the measurements they did because they used 5-inch charms. Actually, they used yardage and why you cut 5-inch strips and do that. And I had all these 5-inch squares that are sitting there, so I decided to go scrappy with it. Well, their version of it is scrappy as well. But when you make half square triangles, I cut them down to 4.5 inches. So it's coming out a little smaller, but that's okay. I don't know what I'm going to do with it there. It's a giant maple leaf. I don't know if I will make 3 more giant maple leaves and make that into a quilt, or add some borders, maybe some flying geese around the outside and something like that. Do some fancy things with the borders. Haven't decided yet, because right now I think it measures about 36 inches square, which isn't very big. So that's one thing. And this is my Uncle Bob. This is an In the Hoop. It's supposed to be Uncle Sam, okay? And the original came from designs by Juju, I think. Was it designs by Juju or Sweet Pea? One or the other. I think it was Juju. And one of the ladies, Nancy, who's a regular on Sewing with Stephanie and Steven, she was working on it the other day, and I kind of liked it, but I thought, well, I don't want an American figure, so I just used my maple leaf fabrics, my Canadian fabrics, and made him Canadian. And so he is Uncle Bob, the cousin to Uncle Sam out there. But he's a nice size, and he was kind of fun to make. I love doing these kind of things, the In the Hoop applique. And the buttons hold them all together. But I just sewed those on the sewing machine. I didn't do those by hand. I don't do things by hand. I love using the button thing on my sewing machine.
Yeah, well, that's how I do all my buttons too.
I mean, it's so easy. It's great. And what else do I have here? No, not yet. Not that one. So let's go back here. So Walter was busy. And you saw it if you saw So Chatty this week. You saw the first part of Walter and Lucey, as I call it. Walter does Lucey. Neither one are enjoying it. And Walter learned how this well, actually he's done the whole thing on there now, but we're showing it in bits and pieces because it is a bit long. We're still living. We didn't kill each other over it all.
Actually, we didn't have too much of a fight.
No, we didn't.
Conflict
No, I was
unfortunately, you won't be able to see too much me getting upset. So
yeah. Well, I have a little teaser that I'm going to put up on Idiot Quilter for the next part on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that one because he did say something rather rude about the batting. I'm putting it back in the bag.
Oh,
Yeah, don't give it away. I've got it as a teaser. So anyways, yeah, he's been working on that, and I thought I had a picture. Did I not put the picture up here of your quilt? I don't know if I have it on here. I must have it on here. Just a second, let me see so people can see what you did. It's kind of a, maybe I shouldn't show it yet.
well, yeah, you can show the finished product.
Well, it's not quite finished. There it is. Oh, shoot, I gotta get that down. Let's forget that. That can't be full screen. This can be. So let's get this up here so everybody can see. And they'll all ooh and ah you. Your fan club will love whatever you do. So there it is. It's all quilted. He wasn't so sure if he really wanted to use that design. I think that design worked out quite nicely on the quilt. So now you got to trim it.
Yeah.
And you got to bind it. I made his binding for him this morning. I thought it might be painful to watch. I don't know. But I did offer to actually bind it for him. But he wants to learn how to do it. So, yeah, there could be screaming during that session of it. So, yeah, it's coming out nice. Are you happy with it so far?
Yeah, I like it.
I think it came out pretty good. We got it onto Lucey pretty square, too, which is good. That doesn't always happen. So, yeah, I think it's looking quite nice. Let's go back here. And let's get this off so we can see what people are saying here. So, let's back it up. Oh, a lot of things going on where I couldn't see the screen. Oh, Russ goes, ears perk. Corgi, they're so cute. They're so fluffy. Philippa says it's still dark. Sun hasn't risen yet, and a chilly 12C. Ooh, you're a frosty bunch out there. Lewis Church is here. Hello, Lewis. Suzanne is here now, and Mary. Southern Hater likes my block. She's a very 1800s. Yep, it is. Well, they're supposed to be. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be based on the whole, like the traditional blocks that were used in the Underground Railway quilts, whether that is a true story, like they were supposed to be secret codes in them for the slaves. And Stephanie's been going through each block and the history of it on her channel as well, which is quite interesting. Nobody's absolutely sure that that's more of a legend than the reality, but it's kind of a neat legend. Elsa likes the vintage look. Oh, Shirley's here. Hi, Shirley. Patsy says, Stephen, you sound different. Are you okay?
Sounds same to me.
Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe your speakers are producing a different sound. Nope. I'm fine. Nothing there. Sue is here. Good afternoon from sunny central Missouri. Love your Underground Railroad blocks. Thank you. Yeah, as Stephanie says, the measurements aren't obvious. Which I don't know why. Why couldn't she make them, like, what's the big secret? She published a book with the patterns in it. Melissa's here. Hi, Melissa. Pat says, I had the speed of the replay on 75%. Oh, Stephen, you sound a little drunk. Sorry, I mentioned it before checking. Okay, that's not how you spell my name. Okay. I'm going to be picky about this, people. I'm calling people out from now on who spell my name incorrectly. You know why? You guys call me out if I pronounce or I spell any of your names incorrectly, so I'm calling you out. It's with a V. It's with a V. Yep. So let's see who else I can call out on this one. Joan Reed is here. Hello, Joan. From Springfield, Illinois. Jan says, Sue is making Uncle Sam. Yours is very nice, Stephen. Yeah, Sue made the Uncle Sam. I did the Uncle Bob version. Dana's here. Hi, Dana. Sunny Regina. So, Dana, Oh, I suppose it's not until about the July. Does Regina still smell like your sewers have backed up in July? When we were there many years
I
ago,
thought they did something to
did they
correct
do it?
that. Yeah.
There was some kind of algae or something would grow on the
Yeah.
river or something, and it basically smelled like sewers when it was really hot, something like that. Jan says, I like how Walter would smile at the camera every once in a while. Yeah, that's a really great look. Yeah, Mr. Magoo. Barb loves your quilt, Walter. Elsa loves it too. Mary says it's beautiful. What happened? I went up too far suddenly. Elsa loves it. Mary loves it. Looks great according to Russ. Shannon likes it.
That's not Russ. That's Stephanie.
Oh, sorry, Stephanie. Oh, they look so much alike. Not. Patsy, very nice, Walter, she says. Great job. Moldy Lasagna is here. Good afternoon, Stephen and Walter, and everyone from Cerro Gordo, Illinois. Oh, I've never heard of that place.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of places in the U.S. that we've never heard of.
Well, I'm sure there is too, but that one's kind of would stand out in your mind because that's kind of a different name. Laura's here. Hi, Laura. She's late. We know, Laura. You don't have to say the obvious. I had to help my dad with a few things. I think Walter did an amazing job. Thank you. Lydia's here.
Thank you.
How come this thing?
I had a good teacher.
Yes. Oh, who was it?
I don't know.
Yeah, right. If you mean putting your quilt together, you had Stephanie to help you with that. But Mona says, thank you, Walter, for wanting to do the quilting. I have not seen what goes in to get a quilt on a long arm.
Yeah, I think that was probably good for, anybody that doesn't have a long arm or is thinking about getting one to see how it goes. So
I mean, it looks cumbersome and time consuming, and it is, but I've cut the time down. If I was doing it on my own, if Walter wasn't standing there, I could have got that whole quilt on and up and basted probably within about half an hour. That still beats what it was like when I used to, before I had the long arm, and I used to baste on the floor and trying to get the quilt laid out and all the layers there. And then I put up a whole bunch of folding tables to do it on. And then I was pinning them. I used to use spray based. And then I went to pins. And yeah, believe me, basting a quilt on a long arm is worth the price of a long arm. Just for that. Because you don't have to crawl around your hands and knees. Yeah, it's still a little awkward. I know someone told me that they take their batting, their husband rigged it up so that it's on in the rafters above their long arm, and it sounds like they just sort of pull it down from there, and then they can. I thought I thought of something like that at one point in time, but that's not a bad idea. Because the batting sticks to everything. And they double it over when it's on the roll. And you usually only use a single layer. So, you saw, those of you that seen the video, you saw us having to, that's really a two-man job. But usually I do it by myself. And it's getting it pulled over. And you got to be careful. Batting is actually very easy to put a hole in. If you pull it a little too hard, you can actually rip it. So yeah, I use an 80-20 blend. That's 80% cotton, 20% polyester. But it's, yeah, you can put, I have put holes in my batting before. And I buy 120 inch. Or is it 108? Nope, that's the fact. It's 120.
You buy 120.
I buy 120. So it makes it even more.
Well, why do you buy 120?
Well, in case if I have, because you have to have more than, if I do a quilt that was 108 inches, well, first of all, my backing is always 108, so my quilts are going to be smaller than my batting. Yeah. But you have to extend out beyond because it shrinks. So that's why I always buy 120.
But you don't have a long arm that's long enough to handle that.
Still wouldn't matter though. It still comes doubled.
Yeah, okay.
On them, on the roll. Like, so yeah, you gotta split it out. But yeah, but it's still easier than having to do it on the floor or on tables and stuff like that. And then lining everything up so that you keep things relatively straight, and then the basting of it. So yeah, that is the part I don't enjoy the most about doing a quilt on the long arm, because you want to give yourself time for it. Quilting a quilt on a long arm, unless you are a real speed demon and you do this as a business, it's pretty much an all-day process. By the time you get it on there, pick your pattern, do some testing, get it threaded, do your quilting, take it off, trim it up. Yep, it's pretty much a day's worth of work. So yeah. Let's see. Laura says she ordered the book for the Underground Railroad. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Wanda's here. Hi, Wanda. That's okay, Patsy. You've corrected yourself. Yeah, I do get a little picky about that anymore, because I've had so many people get really uptight because, you meet a Lori. And then is it Lori? I tend to spell Lori automatically as Laurie, because that's my sister's name. That's how she spells it. So I guess the thing is, you should ask.
Yeah, like I used to work with this woman that had a Polish last name, and her last name was Shevashevska. And she used to get that. Well, it started off Pryz. I can't remember. That was over 40 years ago, so I can't remember exactly how. I knew how to spell it at the time, and so I was very careful all the time to spell her last name right properly, right. And she sends me a memo one day, and my last name's spelled wrong, and I sent her back a message and spelled her last name wrong. And I said, I don't appreciate that you spelled my last name wrong.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, like,
I mean, my last name's long, so I can understand people just getting confused and stuff like that.
Using every letter in the alphabet.
About, my letter, like, I have 12 letters in my last name, so I don't get too uptight when they drop an E off or something like that, right? But geez, when you have a name like Jessica, you're bound to spell it wrong.
Yeah, well, I guess the best thing to do is, if there's multiple spellings for names, just ask how to spell them. And there's ones now you get. I know when I was teaching school, some of the names people have given their kids. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, well, some ethnic people. There was a guy I used to work with that was Czechoslovakian, and he named his kid Philip, and he spelt it Filip.
Well, I knew girls that had like weird spellings of their names. They'd put in extra I's, a couple of extra E's, start when it should have been with a P. They started with an F, but I don't know. It was like, so I just asked all the time, how do I spell your name? How do I say your name? And then I'd say to the kids, and guess what? It's going to take me a while to get my tongue wrapped around what your name is. So from now on, until I get that, you're Gladys. You will be Gladys. Some kids were Gladys all year. So, sir, why do you keep calling me Gladys? Because I can't pronounce your real name. Go home, tell your parents they should have been more sensible about it. Okay, when they named you.
Yeah, actually, when I was born, my parents changed my my first name.
Oh, what, from Dickhead?
No.
Your father was a dick, wasn't he?
Yeah, my dad was a dick. And actually, it was a Dirk.
Oh.
But in Canada, they all called him Dick. So, and you guys saw, he had these patches on his work clothes that said Dick on them. And I inherited, he engraved all his tools, right?
So you have
and all his
Dick
tools
on your tools?
have Dick on them. And I inherited all his Dick tools.
Okay, that sets up an image.
Yes, I have all these tools that say dick on them.
Okay, let's see who's come in while we're having this lovely conversation. Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. And Teresa's here. Hi, Teresa. Now, Dana says, once upon a time, long, long ago, in a place far, far away, Regina smelled awful. I agree with you. The water plant wasn't working. I went to A&W for root beer, and they used the algae tasting water in it. Ooh, in the root beer drink. It was disgusting. Oh, well, I remember the smell when we hit Regina. Yeah. It literally smelled like shit. Like the whole town just it.
Well, we had gone to we visited friends of yours in Winnipeg, right? And we said we were going to Regina, and they said, oh no, the river begins to smell at this point.
Just keep going to Saskatoon. Yeah. And they were right. It was bad then.
We stayed in a really crappy hotel too.
Yeah, we did. Well, I'm just here. And Dana says, now I'm pleased to say all is well with the water and the smell. Well, that's good to know. Candace is here. Hi, Candace. Diana Miller wants to know, are we having guacamole today? We've had our avocado today. We had my new favorite food, avocado toast. I make it on Sunday mornings, and we have this special bread. It's Walter's bread because it's got a lot of seeds in it, and it's what's so special about it?
Well, it's just a multi-grain bread.
Oh, so he's on this health kick, right? You know, because of his body sugar or his blood sugar or whatever. So, anyways, I take the bread and a little olive oil in a hot pan, and you toast the bread in the olive oil, and then I mash up a fresh avocado. And you add some garlic to it. And I just use the minced garlic that comes in the bottle. And a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of salt. And mash that all together. And then sort of spread that onto your toast pieces. And then I have, then I sprinkle it with a little bit of red chili flakes. And then I have a couple of hard-boiled eggs that I slice in my handy-dandy little egg slicer thing, you know, the thing that's got the little wires that usually break off after 3 eggs with it if you buy the dollar store one. So this one we've got right now is, I think, came to the dollar store, but it's working pretty good. It's one of the Betty Crocker line in that. And I attractively lay the eggs out on top, give them a little hit of pepper, and it's actually really quite good. You like it, don't you?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, he likes it. So there's high praise from that. So yeah, we're learning a lot of things about avocados. And I said to Walter today, we really next time.
Actually, I've never really developed a flavor for avocado, but actually lately I kind of like it. So.
And once again, cut me right off.
Yeah, well, it's not. You're constantly talking, so I'm always going to cut you off.
Remember that discussion we just had about Dick? You are. Yeah, you should be cut off. Anyways, as I was saying, I said to Walter, maybe we should try some avocado oil. I think Costco sells it. I've seen it there before. So, I mean, just try it with cooking. I don't know. It's supposed to be better for you. I don't know. Everything's supposed to be better for you and it's always expensive. So, whatever. See what other people are saying. So we're not having guacamole. Well, actually, that's not true. Walter bought those little things. I think we talked about it last week. The little individual guacamole things, and we freeze them, and we take them out. You know, we keep a couple in the fridge, and then when they are gone, we take a couple more, put those in the fridge, and by the time we get to them again next time, they've thawed out and everything like that. Someone suggested you could thaw them out in the microwave, which you can do.
That's what I did the other day.
Oh, did you do it? Yeah. You didn't warp the plastic, did you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was really careful, though. I only zapped them for 10 seconds at a time.
So, yeah, we're quite enjoying avocado. I never hated avocado. I just thought avocado didn't have much flavor, unless it was in guacamole. And that's like a lot of mayonnaise and other things in there, right?
No, actually, guacamole, I don't think has mayonnaise in it.
I made it once and it had mayonnaise in it.
Recipe that I looked up and it doesn't have any mayonnaise in it.
Well, maybe it's the healthy version. So what's it got in it then?
Avocado. I think it's got tomato and garlic and onions and
Oh, okay. There's probably different recipes for
yeah.
guacamole anyways, but when you can get it like this, it's frozen, why go to the bother of making it? Um, Faith says you do need a tape measure. I don't know what you're talking about, Faith. You wrote that comment about a tape measure that you had one around your neck. I do use a tape measure. Did you not see in the video that when I was trying to figure out how long I had to put into the computer on Lucey, how long the quilt was going to be overall, I had a tape measure there. I don't see how a tape measure is going to help me with the way I'm cutting the fabric. If you're saying, or the batting, if you're saying use a tape measure, measure it out and cut exactly like that, well, yeah, I could do that.
I mean, we use tape measure to measure the length of my quilt.
Yeah, that's what I just said. So I'm not sure what Faith has got this bee in her bonnet about a tape measure, and she hadn't explained it to me very well. So Faith, inquiring minds want to know what are you saying about that? If you're saying measure out your batting before you put it on, yes, you can, but that I can't do it in the Lucey room. I'd have to take it out, throw it on my rec room floor, and do that. And the problem with that is everything will be covered in batting because my rec room floor is carpeting. And the batting just loves to stick to the carpet. That's why I don't do it that way.
Yeah, the Lucey room's only about 10 feet wide.
Yeah.
So.
And Lucey's pretty much takes up all the room in there. So
and you just have enough to walk around it.
Yeah. So that's why I do it the way you saw it on there. Yes, it is a little awkward, but you get used to it. Yes, there's probably a little bit of waste, more so than maybe if I did it the other way, but you know, that doesn't bother me in batting and that kind of stuff. You know me. All of you do. You know that I am not a scrap keeper. And in fact, I just redid my pressing station, and under my pressing station I had 2 great big baskets full of scraps that I was saving for I don't know what. I had tried to organize them between strips and then chunks, and they just sat there. I never did anything with them. So guess where they are now? In 2 great big huge green garbage bags.
Yeah, and I suppose you put them in there after I went to the dump to take your bag.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't started cleaning out there until you went to the dump. You went to the dump, what day was it?
It went Friday.
Yeah.
I don't go on weekends.
And what day did we get the cupboard up and everything and I started cleaning out there? Yesterday. That's Saturday.
Okay, fine.
So when you went, I didn't know I was going to do that.
Okay, fine.
I just got into this big, let's reorganize and cleaning mood at that point. Excuse me. They'll keep. It's not like they'll rot out there. Jeez. Shirley says, I'm waiting for Stephen to call me out for always saying hello to Walter first. Never really noticed it, Shirley, because you're not the only one. His fan club always does that. Laura says, my husband wants to get me a long arm, but I'm so worried about the space that is needed. Well, Laura, when we first talked about getting a long arm, we thought the same thing. We thought, oh my God, the thing is huge. Where are we going to put it? But you know, if your husband wants to get you a long arm, you can figure it out.
Find a place to put it and just go with it.
Mm-hmm. If, you know, there's ways around it. And depending on the type you get, there are some that you can sort of compress down. The APQS you can't. They are solid bars. So mine's 10-footer, and the bars that are on it are 10 feet long. So you can't shrink it down or expand it.
But the bars are really,
but they're very strong,
very sturdy.
And you want that. You want something that's sturdy. Now, Grace frames or things like that are ones that do extend. I think Janome's, which is made by Handy Quilter.
No, Janome has changed their configuration. They don't have the ones that extend as much anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think they do anymore.
But you can get ones like that. But
I mean, I would think that you'd end up creating it sounds like you could just, expand it, make it smaller, but I don't think it.
I don't think it's that
way.
easy.
No, I think
No.
you have to choose the size and then go with it.
Yeah. But, you don't need to have a lot of space at the ends of it or in front or behind it. So, like, basically, I have enough space to get behind Lucey, if you saw the video, to get the batting on her. And when I first got Lucey, before I got the computerized part of it, I was doing paper pantographs, and you do those at the back of the machine on the table that's there. And I had room to do that there. At the front of the machine, well, there's only 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet at the most, because we've got a filing cabinet and a fridge on that side as well. So there isn't a lot of room. Walter always insisted we should have got the 12 foot.
You could have put the 12 foot up against the wall, right, in there, and walked around at the other side. But
yeah, but I need storage too.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm kind of working on in a piecemeal way right now.
But I mean, if you had gotten that to begin with, then you would have worked around it, right?
Probably. Yeah. Well, we can trade this one in and get a millie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very happy with my Lucey. It does everything that I want it to do, and I don't do quilts that are any bigger than a queen size. I mean, that's as big as I can get on there, and that is pushing to the limits of Lucey with that. But I don't ever intend to make a king size, and if for some reason I needed to make a king size quilt, I can always go down and rent time at Whirls and Swirls.
Yeah, as long as she's still there when you...
You're always such a gloomy goose about everything. If you can find the negative side in it, Walter does, But anyways, if you want it bad enough, if your husband wants to get it, I'd say you'll find space. You'll find space. Teresa says ABS. What's happening here? ABS pipe on brackets. Roll it down like toilet paper. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
I'm sure that we'll find something that we can put that's solid enough to hold a roll if we do that. Yeah.
Well, we actually have a pipe out there that was going the wrong way. That big one we put up.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's strong enough to hold one of those rolls.
Well, that's a pretty strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to look into that and see, because my way of thinking, I'd put the bar over towards the back of the machine, and you just like toilet paper, and just put it down. Yeah, actually motorize it, and you just push a button, and it goes. And then we could use face tape measure, because you would know the distance from, say, where the roll starts and the top of Lucey or something. You would know how far that was, and you could use that as part of your calculation or something like that. Anyways, Elsa says, when batting is on the ceiling, how do you stop it from unrolling?
I don't know.
Mine is on the wall.
On it or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Mine is on the wall, and I have to be careful that it doesn't unroll.
Well, I'll just put a clamp on it, or put a couple of pins in it or something like that. That's gonna...
I wouldn't think it would, because it's not that easy to getting it off the roll. But I don't know. I never really thought about that. But yeah, you put some kind of a clip on it somehow. You can get those big I have some of them. Those big plastic clamps. You just on either end, just
put it on the ends. Yeah.
You don't even have. It doesn't even have to be wide enough to go through like all the way to the core. You just need it on a couple of layers. Yeah. That would probably stop it. I have pipes hanging from the ceiling for my batting. Yeah, Faith's got that kind of system. And Janice says,
our ceiling's not that high though, so I don't know how that...
We'd have to measure how big the roll is and see. Well, the ceiling's 8 feet.
No, it's not. Not in the basement, I don't think. I think it's 7.
Oh. Well, we'd have to check it out and see. Where there's a will, there's a way. Actually, what I thought would be good, except then you don't have any storage space under Lucey, is there in the front, if you had a pipe that ran from one end to the other, and you could roll it up that way.
Yeah, like if you look at our sliding glass door in the back, right, you'll notice that it almost goes to the ceiling.
Yeah, that's true. Oh well, where there's a will, there's a way. We'll think about that. Right now, I'm more interested in cleaning out the Lucey room and getting things more organized in there. In that, so that's why I got rid of all those batting scraps. Yes, that took a load off my mind, but there's more junk out there that is not necessarily quilting related to get rid of. So Janice is here. Hi, Janice. Colleen says, Walter, your quilt is fabulous. I'm enjoying seeing the long arm process. I helped my mom set up her old-fashioned frame. A much different process. True, and I'm assuming that was probably for hand quilting. Patsy says, batting is double even in a package. King sizes for sure. Not certain about other sizes. Yeah, that's right. I've bought that in the package back in the day, and yeah, they were all doubled up too. It's so they can get them, more compact, I guess. Patsy, Teresa Elsa, I just used a large clip, Think Hardware Store, to clip the cut edges to the layer under it. Yeah. Jan says she often gets called Joy. Well, not by people who know you.
Joy.
Yeah, jump for joy. Then she had to go home, so we all felt merry. Yeah, it's an old joke. Russ says, I've had people misspell my name in an email, so I misspell their name in the reply. You're evil, Russ. Yeah, Dana. It's Dana, not Dana. I used to make that mistake when I first met Dana. I wanted to call her Dana.
Yeah, because I know a few Danas that spell their name that way.
Well, that's me too, as well. But anyways, and Barb says everyone always spells my last name as Olson. Oh yeah, E instead of an O.
Yeah, well, they misspell your last name sometimes.
Oh yeah. Though my last name is Bland. How difficult is that to spell? Well, believe me, I've had it misspelled many times before.
People don't think it's true that it's that, so they'll put an O in. Or they'll put an E at the end.
And if they're Asian, they just call me Land.
No, they probably call you Rand.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Rand.
So Patsy says, most of the time my first name is spelled wrong. More than not, it is spelled Pasty. Oh, Pasty? Pasty. It's Pasty Wilkerson. My third son, Elsa says, went by his Dutch name,
Joop.
No one got that one right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Joop.
Joop. Yeah, I would have said Joop. Like loop, Joop, but Joop. It's surprising how many people, Laura says, mess up my last name. Honestly, folks, it's 3 letters. Oh, yeah. So your last name is actually Sup.
Yeah, Elsa. My real name, I was named after my grandfather, which was Wouter. Woter. When I was born here, so my parents changed it to Walter, which was more English sounding.
Now, Laura, I suppose, do you get people to come up to you and go, "What's up?" And Jeannie says, weird spelling. Yeah, I don't think I've known any Jeannies that spell it that way. And Teresa says the post office used to send everything that had a Dutch name that she didn't recognize to my parents. I think they thought if anyone had Dutchies over, Mom would know. Oh. Russ had a gym teacher mispronounce my last name. I was in shock. He couldn't pronounce rice. That's nice. Well, he was a phys ed teacher.
They probably can't spell their own name.
Yeah, most of the time they can't. No, really. Now, there'll probably be a few phys ed teachers on here, ones that will take exception to that. Spell exception. Oh, Patsy says she almost forgot. I made a Dutch butter cake yesterday. It is so good. A Dutch butter cake.
I don't think I've ever made a Dutch butter cake.
I don't know. That sounds interesting. Charlotte's here.
My mom always used to make pound cake all the time.
Kim is here. Charlotte says that sounds really good, Stephen. What sounds really good? The Dutch cake? Any cake's good. Pie is better though. Andy's here. Hi, Andy. And Brett is here. Teresa's avocado. Ew, that's one texture I can't do.
Yeah, actually, I never really liked avocado
No.
when I was younger, but actually, I kind of like it now. I think it's one of those things you end up uh, grows on you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, long time ago, somebody gave me a black olive, and I almost couldn't eat it. I thought it was kind of gross. And now I love black olives. So it's something that sort of like you get used to.
So what sounds gross, Barb? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that thread comes from. Are you talking about avocado toast or the Dutch butter cake? Yeah, the avocado toast. I used to poo-pah avocado toast. I thought that was a posh thing. People, oh, we're going out for brunch and we're having avocado toast. It's to die for. Really delish. And all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, really? Well, it is. It really is. So
it's good. New food.
Yep, new food. Well, we've started on
Quinoa.
Quinoa. I hate that. Talking about spelling. How do you get quinoa out of Quinoa? I look at that and I go, quinoa. Quinoa. We have quinoa. But quinoa. Is it keen? As in quinoa. I have to picture the Keenwaa. Quinoa. Quinoa.
Yeah, it's like pneumonia.
Phenomena. Phenomenal. 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 Da, 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 da. Phenomena. Don't you remember the song? Sue says, I make my vacate toast with sourdough toast.
But they meant
Avocado. Oh, okay. Avocado oil has a higher smoke temperature. I use it all the time. Yeah, I'd heard something about that. Don't smoke it. Yeah. Yeah, sourdough would be good, but Walter's not big on sourdough.
I've never really cared for it that much.
He's very picky about his breads. Laura says, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Sounds like guacamole to me. Well, in a sense, it is. It's guacamole on toast. Yeah, you could use guacamole for it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Nothing that doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's got a lot of avocado in it. Who cares?
Avocado oil smells terrible when you heat it up and really smells up your house. So open windows if you're cooking it up. Oh, yeah?
Well, take a look. See what it's like.
Yeah. Ingrid's here. Hi, Ingrid. Try baked avocado and egg. Baked. How do you bake it? Do you put the avocado whole in an oven and bake it and then cut it open and scoop it out?
Or are you saying mix the eggs up with the avocado and then...
Oh.
Okay.
I
don't know.
You got a recipe? I can look it up somewhere. Yeah. Maybe it might be a new food sensation. But anyways, this is this quinoa that we've had. Actually, I kind of like it.
Actually, I had it a long time ago, but I don't think it was cooked right because it was kind of like crunchy.
Oh.
And the way I cooked it, it wasn't crunchy. So.
Yeah. So we made. What did I make? Oh, I made tacos with it. We had whole wheat taco shells, or tortilla shells, and I spread some guac on it and added some. We've been buying these bagged salads that are basically what's in them? It's kale and some other crunch and cabbage and stuff. Yeah. They're actually quite tasty. They're like a little kit. Costco has them. And they have different flavors in them. And so I used a little bit of that in there. And I made this avocado sauce that I found online. And I forget exactly what was in it. It wasn't too complicated. It was fresh avocado mixed with some stuff. I can't remember what was in it. But it was actually quite tasty. And, and put some black beans in with it too. So it was a meatless kind of thing. There wasn't any cheese. We didn't use any cheese. Did we or did we?
I think there was some cheese.
Did Dave have some cheese? Yeah, I may have had some cheese with it too. But it was actually quite good. So discovering some new healthy foods, healthy eating that tastes better than cardboard. Francis says, I just got here. Hi, Francis. And heard guacamole. I make salsa, then just add a small portion of salsa to smashed avocado, all fresh ingredients and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that.
I guess you can do that. Nothing wrong with that. Vivian is here. Hi, Vivian. And Laura says her husband's her worst enabler. You're lucky, though, Laura. I hear a lot of ladies complain about their husbands saying,
oh, no, not again. Like, I mean, it's the old bag thing that, the old bag.
The old bag thing?
Where you go to a quilt store and they change the, well, I guess they can't really do it nowadays, but they used to change the color of the plastic bags weekly so that women could hide their purchases from their husbands.
Yeah. And the same thing happened when I used to work in a craft store too. The ladies would come in and go, okay, I have to have a different color bag because he can't see that I've been here. And I said, well, what do you do when you get home? Okay, you got a different colored bag, but you got, I leave it in the car. I leave it in the trunk for about 2 weeks. And then when he's not around, I sneak it in. And I thought, oh, come on. You know, what kind of relationship have you got if you've got to do that? I said, my husband never complains about it. Although Walter will make me second guess things. He has a tendency to go, well, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe you should wait a bit for that idea or whatever. I am an impulse buyer. I will say that. I mean, when I make up my mind I want something, I want it right now. Walter will wait until he's done all of the research about it from here to wherever, and then he looks for sales. I mean, I'm not like that. Probably should be more like that. Julie's here. Hi, Julie. Thank you for the Lucey video. I enjoyed your take on how to load a quilt. I learned some tips. Okay, well, I'm glad that you did. I mean, there's different ways to load them. It's whatever works for you, you know, and this was the way I was shown how to do it by Tracy at Whirls and Swirls, who's my APQS dealer, and that's what she taught me.
And that's why she loads quilts for herself too. So,
like, there's about 3 different ways.
And she gave us a good reason why she does it that way.
Yeah.
So, and so because she showed us how to do it that way, that's the way you.
That's the way I've
has worked for you. Fine, right?
Yeah, it's worked fine with it. Tracy knows what she's doing. She's been doing this for years. So but there are about 3 different ways you can load a quilt onto a long arm. I use the method she taught me, which is floating the top. You secure the base, and then you basically float your batting, and you float your top on that, and then you base those all down. But I know, so I only use basically 2 bars out of the 3 potential bars that you could be using for putting your quilt on. I don't even know how to do and I've seen it on videos, and to me that looks like a lot of work, and I don't know what the advantage is to it. You know, you use this, I forget it, there's a name for the bar that people do that on. No, it's not a quilt bar, it's something else. Top bar, I don't know what it is, but I don't do it because I wasn't taught that way to do it. Barb says, how heavy are batting rolls? Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I can lift one.
I can lift them. I can lift it.
Yeah, they're a little awkward.
Yeah, they're awkward because of the length of them, but I'd say they're probably maybe 30 pounds.
Yeah, something
maybe
like that.
A little bit more. I don't
Depends.
know.
Like he gets 120 by how 50?
30 yards.
30 yards. Yeah, 30 yards by 120. And I can easily lift. 30 pounds sounds right.
Yeah, I'd say about 30 pounds.
It might even be a little less than that. I'm not sure.
Laura, you realize that people want your husband because she says,
well, maybe he figures it'll keep you off his back. It'll get you busy.
Where was it? Where was that? No, wait, I lost that comment. Went by too fast. But anyways, Laura's got a husband that enables her all the time. Oh yeah, this is no. I can't find it now. I lost it. It was there somewhere. Anyways, Laura, Your husband would be snatched up in a minute if you got rid of him, by the sounds of things. Lewis says, my first name is Lewis. My middle name is Paul. I go by both. It gets confusing, but I always like Paul best. Okay, you're one of those. Pick a name and stick to it.
I like my middle name, but
Is it Dick? It is. Your middle name is Dick.
No, it's Richard.
Well, that's short form of Richard's Dick.
Yeah.
See, I knew you'd be a dick. Yeah, not at all. Barb says, yes, the toast with the green stuff on it. Oh, okay. Jackie's here. I don't have space for long arms, so I compromised and bought the tabletop weightless quilter for my embroidery machine. Not even going to go there, Jackie. You know how I feel about embroidery machines and quilting on them. Yeah, but anyways, but if it's working for you, as I always say, if it's working for you, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Barb says it should be quinoa. Yeah, quinoa.
Yeah.
Laura says, oh my God, this is one of the first live streams I've caught. This is amazing. Oh, well, glad you like it. Lou says, okay, why is it doing this?
I don't know.
It's bouncing all over. Cut in half, scoop out about a tablespoon from each, put an egg yolk in each, and spoon in as much white as fits. Put in baking dish, 350 for 25 hours. That sounds actually really interesting. You should try that. It's kind of like toad in a hole, except healthier. I'm just copying that down and dropping it into a note for future reference here. Okay, let me put that in here. Oh, all I got was that. Okay, well, I'll remember. But yeah, that sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's because you only highlighted cut.
Yeah, okay, I know, I got it. Screw you. Laura says, I don't complain. Oh, I'm complaining about my husband. We've been together 36 years. He's awesome. We've got you beat. We've been together for almost 41. Walter enables me too. I wouldn't have a long arm right now if it had been all left up to me. He's the one. He said, I think during COVID, he says, we're not going anywhere. Maybe we should buy a long arm. Oh, smile, everybody. Walter's going to take your picture.
Yeah.
Can't see. What, you're going to get that note?
Yeah.
Okay. Stephanie says, I have my own bank account, so my husband doesn't say anything. Yep, that's probably the best way in a relationship to keep it happy, because money can really disrupt the relationship.
Well, that's how we do it.
That's how we do it, too. We have his and ours. So, yeah, although they do blur a lot now after all these years. Elaine Reed is here. Hello, Elaine, from Lawrencetown Beach, Nova Scotia. Yes, you haven't. We haven't seen you here for a while. Welcome back. Brett says, my great aunt did that with clothes, hiding them in the trunk and saying, I have had this forever after a few weeks. Elaine says, once I learned to float, I have never looked back. I used to roll up all 3 rails. I could do something with that. When I learned to float, good for you. You swim a lot? No, I know what you're talking about, Elaine. I'm just trying to be funny and I'm not doing a good job of it. I used to roll up all 3 rails. Yeah, floating is so much easier. And Inez says, I learned why a long armor ruined my quilt when I was watching you with Walter. She didn't straighten out the quilt back and then quilted over it. Oh, you mean you had like tucks? Big wrinkles? That's part of the reason why you, on a long arm, you do what you do with it, is to get the wrinkles out, to keep your backing nice and flat, which is something that you have more difficulty with when you're trying to put it on the floor and you spray or pins and things like that if you're going to do it on your domestic machine. Ooh, Vivian's been married for 62 years.
Oh, you got married when you were 3?
Yeah. Del Marie says, I've always wondered how Richard was shortened to Dick. Did you see him? No explanation necessary. I don't know. I don't know how Richard got the Dick either. So, Laura says, Stephen, well, my husband is a saint. Somehow we found one another 36 years and I would walk through fire for him. He's my world. I want to see that. Put it on video.
He's not my world. So.
Yeah. Julie says, my husband encourages me to buy. He says it makes me happy. I think he says that because he buys more beer. Well, you know what they always say, happy wife, happy life. Yeah. Laura says, yes, Stephen, we have an enabled supporter relationship. It means a lot. Yeah. Tucks, big one. So, okay. Well, obviously your long armor didn't know what she was doing, because I would think that any long armor that's in the business of doing other people's quilts would.
Well, if she had tucks, she should have pulled that thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Not sent it back to you.
Yeah, Teresa says send it back, tell her to pick it out and redo it. Was it a while ago or is it fairly recently? If it's a long time ago, well, you're screwed.
It's if you're sending it to a long armor, they're responsible for doing a good job.
Well, yeah.
In fact, Tracy, that we from Whirls and Swirls,
yeah.
she will, unless it's something that's your fault.
Yeah.
Right? She has. We've been there a few times where she's been picking out as well.
Yeah, she's been picking out some, and that wasn't her fault. Like, kind of a thing. It was the way that the quilt had been pieced and all of that. See, this is why I would never even, well, I'm not good enough for it anyways, but why I would never consider doing quilting.
Yeah, I know we were there. We were there once, and she was in the process of doing a quilt, and all of a sudden, all these seams started opening up on the quilt. She couldn't do anything about it. We were there, and she phoned them up and said, "Look, I can't quilt your quilt any further because your seams are all opening up."
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stress put on your seams when you mount it onto a long arm, you know. I think everybody's always had one of those seams kind of a thing where you thought you were doing your 1/4 inch and somehow it got tucked under or whatever and you've only got like an 1/8 or something like that. Well, I know I've had that problem. When I first started quilting, I didn't check my seams as carefully as I should have. I assumed that I had my 1/4 inch. And then I got it onto the long arm and the seams opened up. And when that happens, it's a bitch to fix them. Because what do? Do you take the whole thing off your long arm? Well, you can't if you've already started, you're halfway through the quilting process. Well, an experienced long armor probably could, but I'm not at that level. And so I have found curved needles are your friend and invisible thread. For trying to mend the seam. But now what I do is I always check my seams and make sure, because I don't want them to pull apart from that. So that's why I would never do somebody else's quilt, because if there's problems in the way they put it together, or I did something, and I'm not going to spend hours trying to pick out all those bloody stitches. I don't have the patience for that. Oh, and as says, she took it back, kept it for 6 weeks, and did nothing. So I just picked it up and never went back. Did you pay her? I wouldn't have paid her. This was a new person in the community. I'd had several from other people and never a problem. Well, I trust you're not going back to her, Inez, because, yeah, that doesn't sound good. Okay, so just some announcements before we get on here a little bit further. Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, Wednesday as usual. Start time's 9 a.m. Come and go as you please. Links in the show notes for everything. It's also on Stephanie's channel, and if you go to the community tab, you'll find it there on her channel. Mine will be in the show notes. The Churchill block sew along is now done. The last video went up on Thursday of this week, and we are done with that bastard. I mean, that beautiful block. I was very disappointed in Doug Leakel's, not his instructions, just how that block turned out. And apparently I wasn't the only one, so I wasn't the only idiot. None of us were idiots.
Well, I was sort of thinking that I was sort of said to you, because he's only done it as a table runner. and they didn't match them all together, maybe it was.
Yeah, well, that's what some of us came to the conclusion of, that we're trying to put them together and line them up too, and that could be it. But I'm telling you, I got that whole book and there's lots in there I like. I'm just hesitant about trying any other ones. I'll have to read them really, really carefully first and decide if I want to. And knowing me, what's going to happen is that book is sitting out of sight right now. Out of sight, out of mind. Pop-up Sew Day coming up this Saturday. Yes, I know the Sunday is Father's Day, but my dad's dead, so we don't care about it. But
mine passed away a long time ago, so
I did think about having it a week later than that, but here's the problem. Well, the reason I was thinking that is because Walter may have an in-person sewing day. And so if he goes to one of those, I like to have a pop-up sew day, because then I'm not all by my lonesome. I get lonely. And but the guy who's running it has not yet revealed it. So it'll either be this weekend coming up or the weekend after, because the weekend after that he won't be having it, because that'll be Pride weekend in Toronto.
Oh, that's right.
So there's only two. So I decided to make the executive decision. I'm not waiting for that drag queen to tell me what to do. Around. And so it's this Saturday. Starts 8 a.m., runs until about 5 in the afternoon. Bring whatever you want to work on. Have some fun. Again, come and go as you please. I will send out tomorrow to everybody that's on my mailing list the link. But for those of you that aren't on my mailing list, don't despair. It'll be in the show notes as well. And it is a Zoom for anybody who isn't familiar with the concept of a pop-up sew day with me. It is a Zoom. It is not recorded, but it is not a YouTube live. Okay. And the only thing that I ask is that you have a working camera on your computer and you have sound with that, because or whatever device you're using, because we want to see your pretty face. Okay. And don't worry, I know some of you get uptight and go, oh, I don't have my makeup on, or oh, I'm in my dressing gown or something like that. That's okay. Come as you are, as long as it's not naked. We draw the line at nudity. We had an incident once. We're not going to say any more about that.
And you weren't present.
And I missed it, damn it. And his name was Steve, too. That was the weird part. But whatever. So that's on this coming Saturday. Laura says, this is why I listen and watch your replay. Honesty is appreciated. Yes, dude. Jackie says, I have had the same issue with several of his designs. Okay, so this makes me feel good. Not because I want to stick it to Doug Lico. I don't know the man. But it makes me feel good that other people were having the same problems I was having, so it wasn't just me. Jan says she's been praying fervently for another sew day in the last 2 Saturdays. Yes, Jan, I know. I'm doing it all for you, dear. Whatever. Okay, so there was also a video up. I deep cleaned Janome M7 piece of cake, and then somebody asked if Walter's going to let me do his, and my answer to that is he can do his own. I'll watch over his shoulder with it, but it's not difficult to do. It's very easy. And I'd be very curious to see how much crap comes out of your machine, because that 6700 has not been serviced.
And I have done a lot of bags and stuff like that. Well, now mind you, I keep it clean, and I have pulled stuff out of the bottom of it before. So but I haven't taken the bottom off.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
but I mean, I used what do you call it? Pipe cleaners.
Oh yeah.
To shove down there.
Yeah. So yeah, but when he does decide to do it, I will video.
There might be some fuzz under there.
Probably. There's probably some. I mean, I had a little bit in my M7, but not much. Not much. I was really surprised. I thought
whenever I sew up a bag, because I've got like fusible fleece and stuff in there, I usually have a bunch of residue in my bobbin area.
So, changing the subject completely, we had something very interesting occur on. Was that Friday?
No, that was
that Saturday?
No, that might have been Thursday. That wasn't Wednesday. It was Thursday. No, Friday. It wasn't. Was it Friday?
No, it wasn't Friday because, well, no, Friday we did,
we
Thursday we did the long arm. It was Friday.
Yeah, it was Friday.
It was Friday. Okay, so Walter went off to Canadian Tire, as he does every day. Has he been there today? Yes, he has been.
And Home Depot.
And Home Depot. And so I was down here, and I heard the ring go off. So I just flipped over to my iPad and put up the screen, figuring somebody was just passing by, and I see this young lady out there, and she first of all sat down on, we have one of those transformer blocks in front of our house, you know, the big things that
for
hydro, and she sort of was holding her head, and she was back and forth like this, rocking, and she was sitting there, and then she gets up and throws herself down spread eagle on our front lawn.
And I when I drove up, because I was coming back from Canadian Tire, I drove up and I see this person laying on her lawn.
Well,
and
before you jump way ahead of my story,
go
anyways, I'm watching her and I couldn't tell from the camera angle how old this person was. And I thought at one point she's kind of sitting up cross-legged on the lawn and she's looking towards our neighbor's place and she's talking. And I couldn't really make out what she was saying, but she was looked like she was talking to somebody. And I was thinking, well, do the neighbors have their granddaughters over? Although this one didn't really look like, I've never really paid much attention, but I didn't think they had any granddaughters that would be, I was thinking this one looked like she was probably 16, 17 years old or so, from what I could tell in the camera. And, but then she just threw herself back down the lawn and she's squirming around and
see, my lawn is covered in dirt
because she's been taught.
Because I've been putting grass seed down.
So then I was looking at what she was wearing or not wearing, because things were, she had on a pair of sort of short shorts and she had sort of a boob tube top
No,
thing.
she had a skirt on.
Was that a skirt?
Yeah. It was a short.
Well, let's just say her skirt had become a belt.
Yes.
So did her top.
Yes.
So I went out because I thought, okay, something's not right here. And I walked over towards her and says, hello. And she's mumbling away. And I says, hi, are you okay? I just had Molly and ketamine. Oh, God, she's ODing on me on here. And I went, are you feeling okay? Do you live in the neighborhood? I've never seen her before. And then she started to spew forth in Spanish or Portuguese, I'm never sure which one it is, but she's going blah, 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 fuck, blah, 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 fuck, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, okay, and she kept going in and out of sort of a semi-comatose state. So I went in the house, grabbed my phone, called 911, and said to the ambulance person or the dispatcher, I says, they say, do you need fire, ambulance, police? It says ambulance. She says, what's the nature of your problem? And I said, okay, I have a young lady on my front lawn. I don't know who she is. She's claims she's taken some drugs and whatnot. She seems to be kind of going in and out of comatose state, and she's mumbling incoherently. And I said, so just okay, I will, what's your address? Gave her the address, and she's okay. She says, I've dispatched an ambulance now. She says, can you make sure she's breathing? And I says, yes. When I was out there last, she was still breathing. She says, if she's got any restrictive clothing, can you loosen it off? Oh no, she's not got any restrictive clothing on anymore because I'm seeing stuff nobody should see.
Well, when you had called 911, I didn't realize that he had seen this, but I drove up in the car, right? And I see this, all I see is skin. and I thought, and I see skin and buns. And so I drove up, I parked my car, and I thought, oh, has this person fallen?
And can't get
up. Right? Because she had her face like buried into the lawn. All I saw was like
at one point she was in the doggy dirty dog position.
Yeah,
she was down with her rear end up and she's wiggling.
Well, that's what I saw. And I saw her rear end, and I saw that her panties were right.
Well, they were G-string now.
Yeah, they're like a G-string. So I saw buns.
Like I said, we were seeing stuff we shouldn't have seen.
And I saw her bare back, and I said, "Are you okay?" And then she kind of rolled over, and then I realized he was making a call, right? So I walked up to him, and I go, "Oh, okay," and I figured right away that she was high on something, right? Well, she rolled around more on the lawn, and she was not in ladylike position.
Oh no!
And
like I said,
you could see her blue panties that were see-through, and she was like touching herself.
And she was doing very inappropriate. In fact, one lady was coming down with a stroller, and I'm standing out. That's when I was calling, and she sees her, and she looks at me, and she just kind of veered over to out of our driveway and down onto the road to bypass that. And I mean, I don't know what she thought, but I just kind of, raised my shoulders. I mean, I didn't know her. So anyways, the ambulance came. Don't show the pictures.
Okay.
No, I don't think that would be appropriate. Walter has pictures. Well, we have them from our Ring camera, and yeah. But anyways, the ambulance showed up, and so I came out over to them and told them what I've just told you about what's going on. And they said, okay, well, we've also called. Do you know her? They asked. I says, I don't know her. I don't think she lives in this subdivision. I don't know.
She had no shoes on.
She had no shoes on. No. I said, she says she's taken some drugs. She said Molly and ketamine. So whatever. He says, okay, he says, we don't usually get calls for this kind of thing in your neighborhood. I said, no, it's first for me too. They don't usually come in groves and throw themselves on my lawn in a half-dressed state.
And why she picked our lawn? Because there was dirt all over it.
Well, I guess it's because she just loved her new grass.
Mud wrestling or something. I
don't know, whatever. But so they said, okay, well, we've got, the cops are coming too, so we'll just keep our eye out. So they said to her, they got out the gurney, the stretcher, whatever, and said to her, so do you want to go to the hospital? And they kind of approached her. They didn't touch her, but she got right up and she started backing away from them. No, I don't want to go anywhere. And she started off in Spanish again, and she's backing up. And I'm thinking, oh God, if she looks like she was going down into our backyard.
She actually, somehow the paramedics got her health card.
Yeah.
She had. And the guy said, that's the first I've never gotten.
And I said, well, where the hell was she keeping it? She didn't have a bag or a purse with her. He says, that's why I'm keeping my gloves on. So, yeah. Anyway, she kind of took off walking back up the street, and they sat in the ambulance and kind of watched her, and the cops were supposed to be coming. They took forever. Anyways, to check her out, but she went around the corner and out of sight, and then they left. I did get a call from the cops a little bit later on and said, hi, you called in about a young lady on your yard. And I says, yeah. And she says, okay, well, we'll just let you know that she's been looked after. We've got it all sorted out and everything like that. Thank you for giving us a call. And I said, okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Good luck with that. So I don't know. She at one point sounded like she'd had a fight with the guy, but in the state she was in, you kind of wonder, was she at a party?
Well, they were asking her what she was doing and were you running away from something?
Yeah.
And she responded with a name or something like that.
Yes.
So I don't know what it was that she was, but I've never seen this person in the neighborhood. No. So she isn't in the neighborhood. So I don't know.
You got to change your grass seed.
Yeah,
it's attracting the wrong kind of people.
My neighbor said I was doing something called pre-germinating my grass seed.
Oh, your grass ball.
And my neighbor said wrote me a message like they didn't realize that they left to go somewhere and saw the ambulance pulling away from the front of our house, and sent me a message and said, "Are you guys okay?" Because we saw the ambulance. And then I explained to him the situation. The next day, my neighbor sent me a message and he goes, oh, is there something special with your grass seed that attracts young ladies?
Yeah, well, Walter has grass ball. because of the way he's doing it. And
well, no, what happens, you pre-germinate your grass seed. What you do is you put your grass seed in a like uh,
cheesecloth,
a cheese. Well, it's not cheesecloth. It's
net
actually
bag.
it's a net bag, and not with holes big enough that it's actually a paint strainer. But anyway, and you dunk it in water, and every 12 hours you dunk it in water, and then after about 3 or 4 days, it begins to germinate, and you're supposed to spread it on your lawn, and it makes your lawn it makes more of the seeds germinate, and it makes it go fast, grow your lawn grows faster, right?
But if you leave it too long,
But if you leave it too long, which I did last time,
you've done it twice.
Yeah, I know.
You thought you learned the first time. No.
Yeah, I know. I left it too long, and then what ends up happening is they germinate so much that they all stick together in one clump.
And I do have a little video I made of Walter with his grass ball trying to separate it, which I will be showing on my vlog tomorrow for your entertainment as well. But yeah, so change the grass seed with it. People are saying that Ruth says, good thing you didn't offer any guacamole. Hopefully she can get some help. Yeah. Yeah, it was a kind of a bad thing, but you don't know what to do. No. It takes you by surprise, and I thought she might just go away. That's why I didn't come out immediately. But then I saw, no, there's something definitely wrong with her.
Well, I'm glad that at least that she got some
help. She got some help, yeah, because
I don't know. I've never been in a situation.
Well, no. Well, Ruth says Molly is ecstasy.
Right.
And sounds like she mixed it with a synthetic opiate. Not a good thing. Yeah, probably not. So,
she obviously had all too much of something.
And who knows, she may have been drinking as well. So all of that on it. But she was, yeah. So anyways, that was a thrill. Yeah, we don't get that too often. All right, speaking of thrills, we did go to the Peony Festival. In June, they always have at one of the recreation sites. Where's my cursor?
Down there.
What's it doing down there? Okay. They have the Peony Festival every year. If I can find it here. That's not it. And we took some pictures. Okay, that's not it either. Oh, wait, that is it. Oh, I did have your quilt in this one. Okay. Help I knew what I was doing. All right. So this is a big annual event, and they have all these gardens with peonies, and they have busloads of people come in to see them. Many of them are Asians. Asians love peonies. I don't know. Well, they love flowers.
They love flowers.
And they come by the droves in there with it. And then they have vendors there as well, food trucks, and then arts and crafts kind of things. But these are just some pictures of the peonies and what it looked like. You can see there's a lot of people here. The peonies were just probably on the verge of being past their prime, I think, this weekend. Because, peonies don't last long with it. Some of them are still nice blooms. But, of course, everybody's got their cameras and are taking pictures of all of this. They're very colorful. There's one. And then they have a competition for, people who grow peonies. And I don't know what constitutes a red ribbon and that kind of thing, but there were some red ribbons there and some blue ribbons. Red ribbons were the first prize. Then they have arrangements. And I don't know, they call it Class 5 Forever. Not sure what that means. That one was pretty. There. This was nice. Won first prize. So, yeah. So we did that yesterday. And while we were there, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on the vlog, there was a guy with a woman and her son, actually. And I stopped to talk to them that were selling 3D printed items like the ones you've seen many times that I have made. And they were really quite nice in the quality of them. So I went to the woman and I asked her, I says, what printers are you using? Well, they were using something that's called Bamboo. And I'm familiar with the brand. I use Creality ones. And I asked her what her filament was, and it was just PLA in most cases, which is the pretty much standard filament most people use. But the prices. But some of the things that I make were exactly the same things as they're making. And like the dragons, I've shown you that, the articulated dragons, 60 to 80 bucks for one of them. They have a store online as well. But they were really nice. And
I don't know if how many people were buying.
I don't know. I think
because,
people were,
$80 is basically
for a piece of plastic.
A piece of plastic, yeah.
You know, they're nice, but I wouldn't pay 80 bucks for one of those. I mean, well, I can make my own. But I mean, nevertheless. But the one thing I was really interested in was, but she couldn't tell me, is what the settings were, because he got some really smooth prints. But I also wonder, there are some methods you can use post-production to kind of smooth them out. One of them involves acetate solution, kind of melts the plastic a little bit and things like that. I've never really tried it. I might, but I'm going to try, and my prints come out pretty good. But his were fantastic. Now, it may have been the brand of PLA he was using. He was using a matte finish. Those ones that were rainbow.
Using something called silk.
Yeah, I have silk. I've made things from silk before too. I mean, my one I've been using a lot now is that dual, but I need to buy some of the rainbowy ones that are more in there and try it out. But anyways, yeah, that was quite interesting. So, I said also on the weekend we put up a new cupboard. I cleaned up my...
Did you show those pictures?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, okay.
I had it up there, and I just switched back over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were coming up on here. Jeez. What planet do you come from?
I don't know.
Okay, so I redid my pressing area because it was getting really cluttered and crappy looking. And I bought a cupboard on the weekend, or a few days ago for this. So here's what my pressing area looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. And from another angle. So you can see I cleaned out a lot of crap. I recovered the boards that go under my wool pressing mat as well. And I have my cupboard up there now and everything. And my rulers are a little bit better organized. And yeah, it's a little cleaner environment. I'm very happy about it. It's the beginning stages of my big purge in this room and in the Lucey room as well. So yeah, I feel very good about that now. That's done. Oh, Patsy says, dang, I will have to watch the video. Had a phone call before your story. Oh, you missed a good one. Yeah, the peonies are very nice. Barb has dark peonies in her front flower bed, just bulbs, not opened yet. Oh, okay. Maybe that depends too on the area of Canada you're in as well. How soon they open?
I mean,
how long
they always have this peony festival around now in June. Last year it was cooler, so a lot of, or was it last year or the year before? There was 1 year that was cooler and none of them had opened up. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then now they were just past their prime. So.
Well, my mother used to have some peonies in her garden, and it was always, she always said that they will not bloom unless there's ants on them or something. I don't know how true that is. Maybe those of you that do plant peonies regularly would know more than I do about that. But they are very nice and everything. And as I said, they had vendors there too, different ones. They had food trucks and everything like that. It's something that happens every year in our city. So I have a video of it all. That's going up on the vlog tomorrow. You'll see it. Wild Rose says that looks very user-friendly now. What? Wasn't user-friendly before? Oh, okay. Yeah, nice cleanup, Brenda says. Elsa says the ant thing is not true.
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't think it would.
Well, I don't know. My mother used to say that, but then what did she know? Pat says, I've heard about the ants on peonies also. Something about the ants eat the outer shell so the peonies can open. Okay, I don't know. We may have to do a Google on that to figure out what the truth is. So just before we finish up today, we've had a few comments on videos this week. I just wanted to mention. So let's see. Yeah, you guys were seeing what we see. There, I forgot to hit the button. Where were you?
I don't know.
Another planet. Somebody wrote, great live, guys. I can't believe I'm the first and so far the only commenter, but I think the lips are a spin-off of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Dr. Frankenfurter was a sweet transvestite from Transylvania. Everything was more enjoyable when we were younger. Yeah, but if you remember last week, we showed the lips that got handed out at the Pride Parade there, and I was wondering what the significance of that was. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It goes with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Your Churchill quilt is beautiful, and you two are a fabulous couple. I love Stephen's over-the-top sense of humor and Walter's dry wit. Wit?
I'm with it.
And this person also said, a gay cruise sounds like a total hoot. I'd love to go on one. Well, yeah, are you gay? I don't know. The Mr. and I are planning a riverboat cruise up the Mississippi to Paducah, Kentucky next year for our anniversary. I look forward to seeing your haul. I'm going to Hancock's of Paducah on our day there. Okay, straight people can go on a gay cruise,
but you may not like it.
You might not like it. It depends on how you feel about things. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, yeah, what else they do on one of those cruises is they change all the music to dance music, like good dance music. Somebody else wrote, pardon me if you've already have noticed this or been informed by other YouTube friends, but something odd is happening on YouTube. I find that likes are disappearing and some of my subscribers are gone as well. The likes that are gone amount to a big percentage of what I've seen and liked, not exaggerating. Other channels that I watch have mentioned also that some YouTubers are noticing a drop in new subscribers. Well, actually, I haven't noticed that on my channel, but I've heard people talking about it on YouTube, other content creators talking about all of that. YouTube does weird things all the time. Like lately, again, people are not getting notifications when a live comes on. Like if you're subscribed, you're supposed to get a notification when a live is going to come on, and some people aren't getting those. And yeah, none of these things content creators have any control over. And a lot of these content creators are really uptight about these things that are happening. One guy did a whole video about it, and he's been talking to support people at Google about this as well when they choose to acknowledge his request for information. And he said at the very beginning of it all, they were just sending them links to generic scripts, like things that were written up about this and that, and he did all the things they suggested he try in that, and it didn't make any difference. Now, this is a guy that has like close to 1 million subscribers and, you know, a couple of million views on every video they put up. So for him, it's his full-time job because he's making money. With that numbers on there, he's making a good living on that. So of course he would be concerned about this because that's eaten into his paycheck kind of a thing. For people like me, we don't really get too uptight about it, and we probably don't notice it anyways because we're kind of small. You don't really see any kind of changes like that. But if you've got 1 million subscribers and suddenly you drop down to 800,000 or something, well, yeah, you might notice something like that. But anyways, I just thought it was interesting that this person was talking about it. The frustrating thing about it being a content creator on YouTube is that we have very little say in what happens with our channels. Beyond the basic content we put in it, all the other stuff, all controlled by YouTube, by Google, and it's all based on algorithms they've programmed in their computers. And of course, the AI, the algorithms, and the whole bit do their own thing. They're taking over the world, you know. So there you are. Okay, so that's it for us. Just a reminder that Pop-Up Sew Day next Saturday. Links in the show notes, and those of you on the mailing list will get a link to it. Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, Wednesdays as always, in the show notes for that. Do check out my friends' channels in the next week. I think Russ will have his weekly vlog up sometime tonight, Sunday night. And of course, Stephanie has things next week. Shannon has things up next week. And yeah, check them all out.
If you've never checked out them, their links for all of them are in the show notes below, so please do. So everybody, have a great week, and thanks for coming and partaking with us on our lovely adventures from the week, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye for now.